We are all busy and have a lot of responsibilities. However, what are some signs that your plate is getting so full that it's going to be hard for you to balance it all? That is exactly what we're going to talk about today. Hi, my name is Marta and welcome to Imperfect Life Balance. On my channel, you can expect videos about life balance, productivity, personal development, and any topic related to how to be more effective and efficient so you can spend more time doing the things that you love to do. So let's talk about some signs that will tell you that you have too much on your plate. The first sign is that it is hard for you to decide what is a priority on a given day. Why? Because everything seems like it's a priority. So you really have a hard time choosing where to start because it seems like everything is urgent and everything is important. If that is the case for you, it is very likely that you have put too many things on your plate and you're having a hard time balancing that plate. The second sign that you have too much on your plate is when you find yourself running from one task to another constantly. There are no breaks, you just finish one, move on to the other, and just keep going that day after day after day. Everything feels rushed, you constantly feel overwhelmed, and you constantly feel tired because you keep going at such a fast pace. If this is how your days look like all the time, then it's definitely a sign that you have too much on your plate. Another sign is that you feel like you are constantly behind. Either you're not meeting your deadlines, you're always a little delayed, you're asking for extensions on projects, or you're late to events or appointments that you have made. Sure, we all have had situations where we were behind on something or that we were late to something, but if this is a constant thing that is happening to you, then you really have to sit down and evaluate what is happening, why am I constantly behind, what can I take off of my plate so I can finish things on time and not be constantly behind schedule. Another sign that you might have too much on your plate is when you constantly feel the mommy guilt. I have talked about it before. Mommy guilt is something that is very common, especially for working moms. And we all feel it from time to time. But I have definitely noticed that when I put too many things on my plate, I am definitely getting that feeling much more often. And it is simply because I am trying to meet all those deadlines and finish all the projects. So I am working all kinds of hours of the day and night and spend less time with my family, which is why that feeling is kicking in. Because I am a huge believer that it's quality over quantity. But if you don't have any time or just, few minutes here and there because of all the responsibilities that you have put on your plate, then that's definitely when you're gonna start getting that nagging feeling that I'm not spending enough time with my family, with my husband, with my kids. So if you keep feeling that, then it's time to take a closer look at what is happening currently and how can you help yourself by taking some responsibilities off of your plate. Another sign that you might have too much on your plate is when you catch yourself saying no to things that you actually really want to do. If that is starting to be a habit, then you have to ask yourself, if I am saying no to things that I actually want to do, things that are aligned with my priorities, then there is something wrong not only with the amount of things I have on my plate, but also with the kinds of things that I have on my plate. So that is also a very good indicator that you need to reevaluate what you have on your plate. And something that goes along with that is another sign. It's when you don't feel fulfilled. So you're very busy, you're very productive, you keep working on different kinds of tasks. But at the end of the day, you don't really feel happy, fulfilled, satisfied. If those are the feelings that you keep experiencing, then it is definitely a sign that you have too much on your plate. And just like in the previous example, the things that you have on your plate might not be the right things either. Because when your life is in balance, you really should feel fulfilled with what you're doing. You might feel tired, you might feel busy, you might have times of the year or of the month where you spend, let's say, less time with your family than you'd want to. However, in general, you should feel fulfilled. And if you do not, then it's really time to evaluate the things that you are working on and the things that you are trying to achieve. Another sign that you have too much on your plate, it is when it is very hard for you to stay focused on what you're working on. And that is because when you're working on one task, in the back of your head, you still have this voice telling you, you have to hurry up, you have to finish this, you have another thing that is coming up that you need to finish, there is another deadline, and you keep having those thoughts and they prevent you from being focused and finishing a task at hand. And that is a very common sign that you have way too many things going on at the moment and you need to prioritize or delegate. Another sign that you have too much on your plate is when you do not get enough sleep. Whether that is because you are so busy that you just don't go to sleep early enough for you to get a good amount of sleep, or because you have all those thoughts in your head and instead of falling asleep when you go to sleep, your brain just keeps on going and you just keep on thinking of how many things you still have to do, what deadlines you have, that it is hard for you to turn off that part of your brain and actually fall asleep. And we all know that if we do not get enough sleep, in the long run, it's gonna catch up to us and we're gonna burn out, both mentally and physically, because sleep is that important. The last sign that we have too many things on our plate is when we do not have any time for ourselves. In general, moms tend to put themselves last. And if we keep on piling up all those different responsibilities on our plate, between our career or a side business or our family, different volunteer activities or events at our church, we come last. And if there is no space on our plate for any me time, for any self-care, that plate will eventually crack or just break down completely and everything is gonna be affected. So if you constantly are running out of time to dedicate to yourself, whether that is reading a book, going for a walk, taking a bath, whatever that self-care is for you, if you don't do it on a regular basis, you will pay the ultimate price because you will eventually run out of steam. So obviously that is the last thing that we want. So whenever we find ourselves in a situation where we don't have time for self-care for ourselves, we need to take a closer look at what is on our plate and really prioritize to make sure that we put ourselves as one of the priorities on it as well. That is all I have for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any other signs that you think are indicators that we have too much on our plate, make sure you share them in the comments down below. And if you are new here and enjoyed this video, make sure that you are subscribed so you don't miss any of my future ones. Thank you so much for watching and I will see you next time.